Hey, I gotta take this. Hold on a sec for me. I'm in the middle of something right now, Torque. Hey, Torque, listen. We've been through this already, have we not? Look, I'm very sorry to have hurt you. I mean it. But I don't have the same feelings towards you that you have towards me. Please, Torque, don't ask me these kind of questions. You know it's not that easy. There is nothing wrong with you. And no matter what you do, or whatever you give me, it won't change a thing. I don't know, I know you've changed. I see that in every part of you, every day, in your actions, your kind gestures, and how you treat people around you. You are amazing, Torque. You are smart, empathetic, and you truly care about your friends. Your embrace is so warm, but I still don't feel entirely safe when I'm near you. It really, really is hard for me to reject the past and, I guess, start seeing you in this new light. And I just don't know how long it will take me to... You deserve somebody so much better than me. Someone who would appreciate your efforts and kind words. I mean, I do. I appreciate them. But, you know, I give nothing to you in return. You give a lot, and I return nothing. Yeah, I see you in school, Torque. Bye. Hey, I am sorry it took so long, but I am back now. Oh, are you sleepy? Do you want me to drop the weird accent and tell you a bedtime story? Sure, I can do that. What kind of story would you like to hear? A spooky story? Amazing. Are you ready? Are you comfortable? Are you warm? Are you moisturized? Are you nourished? Awesome sauce. I'll start now. Okay, this is a real story that happened to real people that I know. They are 3 high school students in their senior year, preparing for prom. Sebastian, the nerdy freak who loves true crime and paranormal activity stories, but always has nightmares after them and regrets his life choices. He's into older men. Then there's Sebastian, who is a drama-free basic bitch narrow staircase in the back of the school's library led to the attic, which consisted of 3 small connected rooms. The room on the right-hand side looked like it could have been a guidance counselor's office, with a small sofa, a coffee table, an armchair, and a wall unit. There were also some stuff like small cabinets, an old historical globe, and a mannequin. The middle room was just a storage area with no furniture whatsoever. There were many boxes with supposedly textbooks stacked at the wall. And then the room on the left-hand side. That was Sebastian, Rebastien and Sebastian's main workplace, with a few desks with chairs, and a roof window that provided enough daylight for them to craft comfortably. Even though they had a mega lot of work ahead of themselves, as it was only the 3 of them to provide decorations for the whole prom. They were happy to stay there in the workplace after classes. Could have been worse, right? They all were good friends, so the crafting was always accompanied by music/karaoke sessions or criminal podcasts if Sebastian insisted. These crafting sessions were fun, just friends hanging out, gossiping. These decorations were simple enough to tackle them mindlessly, and so they worked every day after classes. As I said, often while listening to music or podcasts, although what could also be heard was distant tapping coming from the walls and the floor. The 3 boys thought that it probably were just people downstairs walking in the school halls, maybe the cleaning staff or the librarians. So they ignored the quiet sounds. They weren't invasive. However, the sounds gradually became more noticeable and louder, even with the music on. The boys suspected that maybe the school was infested with rats or bats in the attic, or maybe there was a nest of hornets outside of the building. And so they continued working as usual for the following days, until one day, on the 3rd week since they started making decorations there, they heard a floorboards creaking, loud and obvious, however a little muffled, as if it came from an adjacent room in the attic. There were only the 3 of them, and all of them were sitting at desks. None of them could have made the floorboard creak. They stopped the music to listen in closely. It was completely silent. Not a single sound. Not even the constant tapping in the walls from before. Sebastian was this close from being himself. Sebastian said to the work slowly, without music or talking, and really try to listen to the sounds. They communicated via group chat on their phones. Again, they didn't hear anything. All of the sounds disappeared. But the cleaning staff and librarians were downstairs working as always. The realization hit Sebastian. Those sounds were never coming from downstairs, guys, he shouted. And what are we supposed to do? Investigate? Creep around the school looking for what ghosts? Sebastian asked sarcastically, but he was probably scared just as much as Sebastian. Sebastian answered, "Be cool, there aren't any ghosts in school, there can't be. Guys, don't lose your minds. Let's continue to work in silence for a few days, until we hear something more. If we don't hear anything, then these sounds must have been nothing serious and passed." And so they did. For the rest of the week, they worked in silence. They didn't hear a thing. However, something unusual happened on Friday. Sebastian found a figurine in the room to the right. "Hey, look, this wasn't here before," he said. Sebastian answered with, "Maybe one of the school workers came here. I mean, this is still a storage room. We aren't the only ones who have keys to the attic." "Sebastian, look." Sebastian cut him off and pointed to the figurine. Or, more accurately, to what was underneath it. There was a note, handwritten in blocky, wobbly letters on a notepad paper. It said, "Why so quiet now?" I liked the music. At that point, Sebastian and Sebastian had no doubts that somebody or something was present there in the attic when they came there to work on the decorations every day for several weeks. They decided to snoop around the attic. They looked behind cabinets and bookshelves, looked for loose boards in the floor or loose tapestry on the walls. Really anything that could indicate a secret room, a stash, a hole, or whatever. And just when they were about to give up, after checking the whole floor, all walls and furniture pieces, Sebastian had an idea. "Sebastian, help me pick up the sofa. I won't do it alone." "And Sebastian, you look underneath it when we lift it." They did just that, and suddenly Sebastian screamed and covered his mouth. Sebastian and Sebastian tried to put away the sofa delicately, but there wasn't enough space for it anywhere else in the room, so they put it awkwardly on the coffee table, praying it won't break. The sight the three of them experienced was otherworldly. A thing they only saw in movies and knew boys stood there, shocked, breathing in the cold draft that came from inside of the hole. They would have to get on all fours and crawl to get inside. It was very narrow. They looked at each other expectantly. Sebastian immediately shook his head, but Novastian knelt down and started squeezing into the small space. The hall led him to a very narrow, tight corridor, area that seemed to go around the rooms in the attic. He was literally inside the walls of the rooms. They were given as a crafting office. Sebastian followed after Novastian, and Sebastian went in too, scared of being left alone. They proceeded through the corridor, took a turn, and then Novastian stopped in his tracks suddenly. Sebastian asked, "What do you see?" But Novastian only turned around very slowly and shushed him silently, pressing his finger to his lips. What Novastian saw was a person. A man, specifically. He looked elderly, sick, and unclean. He was wearing headphones and facing the other way. Novastian only saw his back, his ragged clothes, and balding head, with only sparse grey hair and stains on his skin. Novastian gave Sebastian a panicked glance and gestured to him to turn around and walk out. Sebastian understood and turned around to Sebastian to do the same thing. But as he did that, the floorboard underneath him creaked loudly. Novastian looked behind himself to see if the man heard them, and he saw the man's face. The man smiled at the boys widely. He had no teeth, and his eyes had advanced cataract. He whimpered something unintelligibly, and as he made that sound, the three boys started to run away through the narrow corridor frantically, then crawled through the hall, hitting their